Artistic Gamer 7. Welcome back to another build video. This one is one of the remodels or whatever of a current town member's place. As you can tell, this is the Penthouse location, and I had mentioned a while before, if you watched one of the videos where I was asking where the next townie life should be, I had actually mentioned this character and said that I was probably going to eventually redo his place, but I never got around to it. Now I'm finally getting around to it. This is where Lander actually lives. If you sort of know who Lander is, then good. He doesn't show up like a whole lot. He used to actually be a part of when I was sort of doing the Townie Life series as my main series. He was one of the main Sims actually in that. But he actually lived in a house with 5 other people. Four of them was sort of friends, random people that, they all bought this big house that had multiple rooms in it that you sort of would think as a sort of renting situation where everyone paid on the rent and things like that, sort of for their portion of it, almost like an apartment but a house type function. And the other person was actually his brother, but both him and his brother have moved out of there since then. He is actually a pro athlete, so he is making quite a bit of money. He's not on the highest version yet, but he's still pretty high up there, and he's already sort of made quite a bit of money at this point. So therefore, he went and bought the penthouse. One of the main characteristics of Lander is the fact that he is sort of like the player type. So he does have a lot of romantic interest and likes to have attention from the ladies and things like that. So that's sort of his, big part of his personality. I mean, there is more to him than just that, but that is the big part. But one of the things, while I was building this, I was thinking about, sort of his style and things like that, trying to sort of keep sort of the city looking vibe to it, but also make it his. But I was also thinking, with his type of personality, who he is, I really don't see him actually being this good at just hiring someone to build the place then decorate it himself. So I sort of just pretended that, I was his contractor and his interior decorator, and that I just sort of asked him what he was wanting and things like that, and basically made a house using that information. So it's not like he has made this house look the way it is. It's more of he has hired someone to do so. But he definitely is the athletic type, workout, sort of play around, bachelor, all those sort of things. But he also wants it to look nice because, he is going to have guests over and things like that. So, he would want it to look nice and sort of impress any ladies that come over to his place. So I sort of was keeping all of that stuff in mind while building and decorating this. Another thing I want to really quickly bring up is I hope that this isn't going to be too fast. I'm sort of using this as one of my testers, compared to my August collab build and this one, where I should try to go with my speeds, basically, of speeding these up. Chrissy, I know, watched the August collab, and she actually mentioned that it wasn't too fast in her opinion, and it wasn't sped up too much. So I'm hoping, and she told me how she usually speeds hers up, so I sort of went, I don't think I went totally as fast as her fastest speed, but I went close to her lower speed that she usually goes in. So just trying to see how it does, how well it fits. If it's too fast, let me know. If it's just right, let me know. And if you think that there's a chance that I can even speed them up a little bit more, let me know as well. The thing is I know, unlike her, I think I haven't got as used to movements as when building, not thinking about the fact that I'm going to be speeding this up, so sometimes my movements are so quick and so jerky. So I am a little bit concerned about that, but please let me know down in the comments below if you think that this is too fast, if it's fine, or any of that stuff. So I definitely would like the feedback so I can sort of keep in mind for future builds. But yeah, I barely cut out anything in this one. I did cut out 2 or 3 of the bathrooms because they were super tiny, and 2 of them were actually identical to each other, just in 2 different locations. So I wasn't like super concerned about that. I did also cut out, of course, like pauses here and there of when I just either started watching TV. Like I had TV running, so if something on the TV caught my attention or something like that. But I cut those out as well. At least I hope I got all of them. I think I got all of them, but I could be wrong. Now I do know there are some scenes that it seems like I have. Oh, I did also cut out like where I did the lighting and stuff, because to me, doing the lighting is, I do that before I do most things, and I do that partially because I feel the need that, so I can see exactly what the wallpapers and stuff is going to look like whenever I, start putting them in. So I do usually cut out the lights and things like that, but there was point honestly, I had like the hardest time with this build. So yeah, originally I started, building this, and I thought I stopped and gone like a few different times. I had 6 videos together to put together. Some were, of course, very long and some were not, depending on how long I got to set and actually build with it. And I thought I was saving as I was going, and it was like it was on the same day for the most part, except for one was the very next morning, but I knew I was just gonna jump straight on it, so me did the stupid thing and just left my game on, because I do that all the time. I leave it on, especially during builds, but just because I want it ready to go as soon as I get up in the morning, because I plan on immediately going and building and recording it, so I don't want to have to deal with waiting on it to load and stuff and going through all the menu screens. So half the time I will leave it on through the night as I sleep, so that it will be ready to go when I get up in the morning. And I truly thought each video recorded I saved after it. Apparently I did not, because at one point the power flickered off while I was building this. I was sitting at my computer and I was taking like a tiny break and eating like a snack. It was like little cheese snacks. It was like these little things that you can get from the store that are like a protein pack, and it has like almonds and raisins and cheese things and stuff like that. I was snacking on one of those, and then the power just flickered off and came back, and I was like, oh no, because I knew that I hadn't saved so far. It was like the 5th video. I was getting onto the last video. I would have been that was originally going to be the last video, because I was going to keep working on it. But that video, after it, like the 6th video, was after the power outage. But I was like, okay, I know I didn't save when I started this video, but I'm pretty sure I saved at the end of the 4th video. I went in, I didn't save at all, except for after like the 1st video, which you can't tell where the 1st video starts and stops because of where I connect, take some of the parts out and things like that. But it was pretty early on. Like, some of the wallpapers, I think it was like right after I put all the wallpapers, except for like 1 or 2 of them, was the last save. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So technically, if you ever see his house in the Townie Life series, or for some reason you see it in another series, I did find out that him and Jolteon are really close friends. So, you know, I'm really thinking about maybe letting Jolteon maybe go over and hang out with him for a bit, because I don't feel like I do as much with Jolteon either. So I think that might be something I try to do, especially since, you know, now Lander's got a new penthouse, and be like, Jolteon be like, wait, let's go check that out. So I definitely want to try to do more with Jolteon, and that might be something I do. So you may get to see it very, very soon if I just do decide to do that. Just sort of depends on how things play out in the Eevee family household. But so, you know, some things may not be exactly the way they look in this video, because I had to go back and redo the whole entire thing. I tried to get it as accurate as possible, and I used my recorded footage to try to get it as accurate as possible. There are some things that I just decided to change anyway myself. Like, as I was doing, I was like, you know what, I actually think I'll like this better. And it was usually like little decor items or plants or something like that. It wasn't like any of the huge big items, but I definitely was, for the most part, trying to keep it as original to the thing as it was. I will say one thing that I probably didn't stick to very well was, here in a minute, after I finish the living room, you will see the dining room kitchen area. And one of the big things with Lander is he is a very big, like, party type guy. So he has a wall of like drinks, and some of the shelves were like already pre-done, and I used those like they're in the wall decoration sets, but then I got regular shelves and also put over top of them and added some of my own that had some of the custom CC drinks and things, and also some of the non-custom ones. I know I didn't do that exactly same one. That took a lot of time. So this like last time around, I was just trying to quickly get them up on there so that I can actually get to the point of where the 5th video left off, so that I could start recording again for the 6th one. So towards the end, I sort of had a pretty good idea what I was doing, because and the 6th recording technically was already started. Actually, the 6th recording was already started, but because the power went completely off, my recording software didn't even keep that recording. So technically I had the 6th video started, but it didn't keep it. So I had most of the build done. Once you start seeing the upstairs section, I did all the rooms and the balconies, because there's 2 like balconies outside on the upper floor. I did all of them first, and I left the master bathroom and the master bedroom last. I had the master bathroom finished. I was on the master bedroom. The last room of the whole entire build is when the power had decided to on me. So yeah, it was a little frustrating. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I sort of already had a good idea once I got towards the end of this video. You may see like me not going through as many options, and some of the walls that I change, I immediately know what I'm doing. It's because I technically had already done it. I just had to, for recording purposes, redo it again. Also for the purposes of letting him have a house. So, yeah. But also, I actually had one video. It was the shortest out of all of them, but I did have one video that was actually, wasn't necessarily corrupted, but the video messed up on it so bad, and it looked like little jumbles of screens, sort of, almost like if you've ever seen like a VCR tape mess up. It sort of looked something like that. I don't know what happened there, but it was the shortest of them. It was like me doing a lot of the wallpapers and stuff like that. So you won't see that in this video, but I mean, I will say out of all the videos, it was the 2nd video. Out of all the videos I did, it was the shortest one, and it was also the one that didn't have like like some really important parts that I would have wanted to keep in there. So I was like, okay, out of all of the ones it could have picked, this was the better one. So I'm okay with it. So yeah. I realized after the fact that I could change the flooring and wallpaper like in the elevator room too, because I was trying not to touch parts of when I went and deleted everything to try to see how much money it would give me and how much money I would be allowed to try to use in this build. I didn't delete like certain walls and things like that, because usually with apartments you don't have like flexibility with doing wallpapers and things like that on certain walls, at least on the outsides of them and stuff, which I noticed I finally was able to actually fix the outside of walls. I can't like copy use the little, is it the eyedropper tool or whatever, and get the wallpaper off of there, but I can at least color the outside walls, so that's nice. But I am thinking about going back and actually just trying to change that a little bit, just to make it a little bit better, because I realized that you can do that. And I think I did end up moving that little chalkboard thing around a little bit that's in the elevator room. So I might change that. I didn't do that on camera, but that might be something that might be a little bit different if you ever get to see the build in a episode on my channel. So that might be something that's a little bit different later on. But now to sort of describe like sort of some of the rooms before I quit talking, because I'll let music play till the end. There is going to be screenshots at the end as well, so look out for those. I still didn't get this video necessarily as short as I wanted to, but I was afraid to speed it up any more than I did. I really, really didn't want to, so, but that's definitely something I want to hear back from y'all from. But anyway, like I was saying, basically downstairs there is, of course, the living room area that has like, you know, like games and dancing and the TV, of course. and all that sort of stuff. He definitely had to have a big TV because he's got to watch his sports and study his opponents on that TV. And then there's a connected dining room slash kitchen area. The kitchen and dining room area are completely open, and they have two big like archways into the living room from where the main dining room sort of area is. I definitely I never really had tried them before until my August collab, using the columns and then like the little, oh, what are they called? I don't remember what they're called. But they're like a little archway. They connect the columns and things like that, but you have to make it at one point been a wall. And I like doing that, and I didn't test it in the August collab, because the August collab, though, I did want it to be a house that you could actually physically use. I also was sort of doing it for looks and also trying new things. I try to do different things each build I do now, or try something I haven't personally tried. I'm pretty sure probably others have tried a lot of things that I've tried, but it's something I haven't tried, so I do want to try different things each time I do a build video. But The Sims, actually, I did test it at this house as I did it. Anytime I did something that I wasn't 100% sure that the Sims could walk by or walk through or use, I used him to test it. I still found a few things that was a little strange. The bathroom, his upstairs bathroom, he couldn't use because of the toilet paper roll was in his way and things like that. But that was also the whole reason of me playing him a little while afterwards, to try to test sort of most of the things in his house to make sure they worked, and they did just fine. But I'm super happy that those actually work as archways and they could walk through them. Like, it gives you more options for archways now, especially if you don't mind your archway being all the way up to the ceiling. And the penthouse has the walls all the way up. Like, they're the tallest walls you can get, so they're really huge archways, but it's perfectly fine. I like the way it looks, and it's cool and stuff. But anyway, and then of course there is a bedroom, as I think you should have already seen at this point in the video. Actually, I know you've already seen at this point in the video. There is a bedroom down there that is meant to be sort of, you can use it as a guest room, but my intention for him particularly is that it's going to be a butler once he gets to like level 9 or 10 in the career, because I think he's at level 8, or he may have just got to level 9. But when he was for surely getting a whole bunch of money, and I also haven't seen what the rent is for this place just yet. That's another thing I sort of am waiting for. But it's going to be like a butler's room, basically, for him to have a butler eventually in his penthouse, because he's definitely not the one that wants to, like, want to clean and take care of places like this place. If he doesn't have to, he's not going to. So, he currently does have a maid, but he doesn't have a full-on butler that could actually constantly be there to do things for him. So, that is something he is wanting to do in his future, is to get a butler to be able to do it. And then there is a bathroom attached onto the butler's bedroom, and then there is 3 bathrooms that anyone could get to from outside of rooms. There's one attached to the living room area that's near the butler's room. There is one in the kitchen dining room area over in the corner that's still pretty close to the living room. And then there's one like tucked away, hidden behind the pool, because you can see into the pool from the dining room area. There's one sort of tucked in a hallway back there, and it's actually the biggest one on this floor. So it's a nice real bathroom, but it's sort of tucked away. And with the way the windows were, especially, I had to use curtains, and though the curtains don't fully cover the windows, that's where imagination would come into play, and you would imagine that if a sim actually goes in there to use the bathroom or take a shower, that the curtains would be fully closed, or they would go and fully close them. So that's sort of me just sort of a thought process imagination going on there, because you can't fully close the curtains to actually cover all of the windows. But, you know, we just pretend. That's how it is. And then there's also the outside area. That's one of my favorite parts about the penthouse, is because it's one of the few areas that can technically, in the city, that has like a yard and stuff, and it technically, granted you're on the top of a building, so it's not like a legit yard, but it's close enough. So I definitely really like that, and I do put a basketball goal outside, and I'm only bringing this up because I ended up making myself laugh. After I started building, not building, but decorating the upper half, at one point I added the rock climbing thing down to the outside because I realized, like, I thought it'd be really cool for him to have it. Though I regret putting it outside now, though there's nowhere else it really could have fit. Granted, these are the highest wall settings, so maybe it would fit inside. I don't know. Every time it rains, it breaks, so that's been a little annoying because it's spring currently in this save. So every time I was like 2 or 3 days that I played at his house, I repaired it 3 times. So, well, technically replaced it. I didn't actually physically repair it. I just had him replace it. But, so, it's a little annoying, but I feel like it's best fit outside. But when I went to put that out there, I was sort of looking at the basketball goal, and I was like, wait. Legit, like, in Sims, this wouldn't happen, because it's Sims, so it's already sort of programmed to do certain things, and not do random, unexpected things, and if it is, it only has, like, certain random program settings in there. But this definitely would not be one of them, and I was like, technically, if in real life you lived in this penthouse and you were playing basketball where I set the basketball goal at, there's a chance that you could miss the basketball and throw it over the fence, and it would start flowing downwards to the bottom, like, the sidewalk at the building, and I was like, could you imagine, for what? The nicer out of the scenarios, could you imagine being down there and then a basketball randomly comes flying from the sky and bounces onto the ground in front of you and then bounces so high up because it's falling from such a high sky, like high, like, point? Like, could you imagine how funny but also terrifying that would be? And then the worst case scenario, imagine if someone was walking and that thing fell down and hit them in the head. I mean, if you get on a high enough building, a penny technically could hit someone so hard in the head that it could actually kill them. So could you imagine a basketball from the top of the penthouse building falling? I was just picturing that. I was mainly picturing what a sim would do if it didn't actually hit them and it just fell in a random place and be like, where did that go? Like, I just imagine them overreacting. So that made me giggle, but then I was like, okay, realistically, let me put something behind this basketball goal so it makes it seem like they're trying to prevent the basketballs from actually flying down there just from a realistic standpoint. So I do put something behind the basketball goal at one point, but that was just sort of a little funny thing that I thought of. So I don't know why I found it funny, but so that's sort of what's down there. And I'm sort of watching the video as I'm doing this voiceover, but I may be off a bit because I've had to pause a few places here and there because I've found a few places where I didn't cut them out and I was just sitting there. So there's some of those, but there's something I think I've been meaning to mention every build video for the last so many build videos. It's mainly with the kitchen, but when I get into the kitchen and I want to decorate it with stuff, there's so many items that I can decorate it with, especially with my CC. And I don't know where all I want to put it just yet. I put it all in the floor, and then I start putting it on the counters after I see what all I wanted to put in the build in the first place, like in the kitchen in the first place, because different people's kitchens, I don't want to put the same objects in every person's kitchen, because depending on the person, maybe they're not a big cook, maybe they're not into certain foods or organization, or maybe some people have more cabinet space than other people, sort of using those things there. So I do cut out the part where I'm setting all the clutter onto the floor, but then I bring back the part where I start taking it off the floor. So if you're wondering why sometimes you'll see clutter just randomly sitting in the floor of my kitchens when I'm building, that's why. I'm not just leaving it there. I don't ever intend to leave it there. I'm not confused. I'm just going through the decorations section and picking up every item I want to use and putting it on the floor. I do sometimes change my mind and delete an item after I start putting things up on the counters, but for the most part I use all of them that I put in the floor. So that's why I put things in the floor for the kitchens, but I always think it's funny when I do it. When I was doing Cassie's dream home, I actually sent a picture to my friend Cassie of the floor of her kitchen, her Sims kitchen. Well, future Sims house kitchen anyway. And was like, I may have made a mess in your kitchen, and she just laughed at me. So that is sort of my odd way of doing that. So, if you're ever wondering. But anyway, and then now up to the upper deck. There's 2 ways to get up to the upper deck. I don't know if I've, at this point in the video, I don't think I've actually created one of the ways, but then I realized, because see, now that we have seasons, I have to think about these things with effects of seasons, and I'm like, the only staircase I originally put was actually outside to get upstairs, and I was like, if it's snowing or raining outside, do you really want to have to walk outside, up the stairs, and across a balcony while you're still outside while it's raining and snowing to get to the upper floor where your bedroom and stuff is at? Probs not. Really, probs not. So I did do a real little rearranging and put a small staircase. It's not as wide inside, but there is going to be a staircase, and it connects to the dining area that helps you get upstairs as well, so that you have an indoor and an outdoor option. The reason why I definitely wanted the outdoor stairs is because there is a balcony on both sides of the upstairs section, but the balcony on the back side, where the sort of outside area is here, has a pool up on it and the outside bar and things like that, so it sort of connects with this outside area, but it's just lifted. So I definitely wanted a way that Sims could walk up and down and easily go from the dance area and like the main eating area to like where the bar is at and the pool's at and things like that. So definitely wanted to do that. And now that I'm seeing me working on the outside, one of the things I can tell you is 100% sure, almost completely different, is the plants. One, it's really hard, the way I do my plants, it's really hard to duplicate. But also, certain ways I did certain sections of the plants I wasn't as happy with, so I did go back and like, those are going to be completely different, the way the plants and trees and stuff are. So that is one thing that I can guarantee you is 100% basically different. But otherwise, I did try to keep most things as 100% close to how I did it in the video as possible. You can see that I do try to use some of the romantic items here and there because they help give that romantic aura or whatever. And that's definitely something that he would definitely want in his penthouse and his build. I don't know if I gave this lot traits or if I changed the lot traits. I actually need to check on that now that I'm thinking about it. But, you know, oh well. I think I've actually almost talked for most of this video, but I do have screenshots at the end, and I haven't gone over what's on the upper section yet. My bad. Can you tell I'm recording this first thing in the morning, like right after I got up, at least the voiceover? Can you tell? Can ya? Because I done gone stupid. Okay, now to finally finish off describing the top, because, you know, I totally forgot that I didn't finish. All I did is state where the stairs were, or at least give you an idea of where the stairs are. But yeah, there is 2 balconies, like I was saying. The one balcony has like the bar and the pool, obviously, and there is a way inside from up there which goes into a hallway. The hallway is also where the second staircase also comes up into, so it's not into one of the rooms randomly, but upstairs there is a study, of course the master bathroom, and the master bedroom. The second balcony is actually attached to the master bedroom, so there's no way to get to that balcony except for through the master bedroom. And then there also is a workout room, a guest room, which is like the 100% like true guest room, the one that I plan on being a guest room, and the spa relaxation room area. So that is the areas that is upstairs. I definitely am really proud of how this penthouse turned out. I am going to upload it onto the gallery once I get this video out, or at least try to remember to do so. I know it does have CC, so that is somewhat annoying. It won't necessarily show up to everyone, but know that it is up there if you do want to download it. The basis of the build, so the walls and all that stuff, they will still be there, and I'm pretty sure I did not use any CC windows. Well, I know I didn't use any CC windows, but I'm pretty sure I did not use any CC doors either, except for maybe to get out to the balcony from the master bedroom. So there may be one or two doors that go missing, but for the most part, I did not use CC doors. And I used CC lighting, but you could easily, a lot of the stuff that I didn't use, that I used CC in, you could easily replace it with other stuff and decorate it how you want to decorate it, because, you know, you may not move the same type of sim into your penthouse as I have in mine, so always feel free to download it and change it up how you want it to. But it will be up there. My ID is Artistic Gamer 7, of course. I have other ones up there as well, so I always try to remember from now on to upload almost all of my builds or remodels at this point, so that you can have them to download as well. I definitely in the future am planning on not using CC. Like, the only reason why I use CC in this one, let me retrack, go backwards. The only reason why I use CC on this one is because it is for an actual sim who's already living in it. So if it's for a sim that I immediately need to move the sims into, or they are already living into it, I'm probably going to use CC just because I like using CC. It gives me more options, particularly with the decor, but it gives me more options to actually decorate the house and make it more fitting the individual than some of the options that are already in the game. But if it's a build that necessarily I'm not moving a sim into right away, or I'm not, like, may not even actually ever put it into my main world, those will always never have CC in them. So don't be like, oh, I don't want CC builds. I have a little bit of both. I have CC and non-CC builds, so just know that some of the builds, I have to do it that way, because if it's in my main save and I'm gonna have sims right in it away, I need it ready. I don't have time to sort of do a non-CC version and then go back and do a CC version. Though those stress me out, especially when I know exactly what the sim wants to. So I feel like if I'm gonna be making it for any of the Eevee family members from now on, I don't think I'm gonna do what I did with Vaporeons, because that just stressed me all out. But I do have quite a few builds. Like, I have like a lot of inspiration for building right now. So I do have a lot of builds that I'm sort of planning on eventually doing and working on that will not have CC in them. So that is something to look forward to in the future. But I am going to stop talking here. There isn't much left of the video, but the screenshots are to the end, and I really don't have much else to say. I can't even think of what I would just talk about to mumble. But anyway, definitely let me know whether or not it is too fast, or if I could speed it up some more, or if it's just right. I definitely want to sort of get an idea of about how fast I can get away with, so that I don't have to try to cut out or split some builds in the future too far apart. So definitely let me know on that, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that lovely like button if you're enjoying the video and enjoying the channel. Also share the video so that others may enjoy it as well. And again, thank you, Chrissy, for commenting on the last one and letting me know that it wasn't too fast on the last one, and that I still had some wiggle room to speed it up in, so hopefully I haven't sped it up too much more. Hey, shit. And all of my Sims 4 playlists will be down in the description below, so definitely go check those out, as well as my social media will be down there as well. If you're not already following me on those, definitely do so. If there's any particular builds that you're looking forward to, and I mean, like, I do have builds planned for all of my Eevee family members, so if you have any of those that you're excited to seeing how their house turns out, let me know down in the description below. And I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the music.
Bye.